Okay, Oscar VM wants to know, do you had, okay, I'm going to go with the interpretation that I came from this. Did you have any psychological issues while throwing again from an injury? I thought I was. So in 2016, I had the bone spurs in my elbow. That was my first ever surgery. I spent the first 5 years of my career, like no injuries, and then had the bone spurs. Coming back from that, I would say a little bit, but the understanding behind the surgery itself, that it wasn't like a major surgery, I think helped. But then I had a setback in rehab for some reason. I never regained full elbow extension. And that's where I started having some psychological issues, because I was like, well, I'm never going to get this back. I have to relearn how to throw again, because you're not extending your elbow fully. So you have to internally rotate your shoulder earlier. And it was a crazy process that took me a while to kind of really hammer down. But I was just continuously telling myself, and this is just a mantra that I kind of live by, is control what you control, man. Put in the work, prepare. And I sound like a broken record. I'm sure everyone is always like, yeah, he's doing his thing again. All right. But control what you can control, in the sense of like, it frees your mind. I'm going to put in as much smart, hard work as I physically and mentally can. And then at the end of the day, like, let the chips fall. Like, I've done what I needed to do to put myself in the best possible position to feel good, perform well. And if it doesn't work out, like, then it doesn't work out. I've had big time issues when I've tried to control things that are beyond my control, and it does me no good to do that. And I know it's easier said than done, but there's truth to it. So, and then in 2018 with the lat, that was more just physical than it was psychological. It was a point in my career where, obviously packed with frustration, but it was just like, look, if this thing doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of this journey and be like, yeah, you did everything you needed to do, man. You didn't take much shortcuts. You enjoyed it. You loved it. I can rest. And that's kind of something that, goes along with, I think, the rehab process in general. I think the opposite, the flip side of that, when you really start to struggle mentally, I think comes from the expectation of things to go smoothly when the work is minimal. So control what you can control. Be able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of this journey and be like, yeah, I did everything I needed to do. Because psychologically, I think subconsciously, like you're always going to know when you take shortcuts and when you don't put in the work. And that's going to be the piece that eats at you when the journey is over. But really good question.